I want to turn to a headline that is really causing a lot of dialogue out of Houston, Texas, and this is regarding, I guess, what you might say is a childhood prank that we have seen kind of time and time again over the years. But this, unfortunately, it was a situation that turned deadly, and it involved an 11-year-old boy. There have been some recent developments in this case as well. So we want to get to our sister station and Len Cannon, who's been following this story for us. So Len, thank you so much for making time for us here on Live Impact News. We wanted to kind of get the very latest because it sounds like there's been the homeowner in this case. There's been a charge levied against him, and he also had an appearance in court. Where's the very latest, that we've picked up with today on where this case stands?
Yeah, sure, Vanessa. The homeowner's name is Gonzalo Leon Jr. He's age 42. He's an Army veteran. He's been charged with murder. Today, he made a court appearance. His bond was set at $1 million. His attorney kind of fussed about that, but the DA thinks it's an appropriate bond, in his words, given the nature of the crime. There's also some discussion about upping the charge to capital murder given the age of the child.
Yeah, so our understanding here, this was a case of, for lack of better description, ding-dong ditch, childhood prank that, frankly, a lot of kids have played over the years, where they ring somebody's doorbell and run away. But in this case, it was an 11-year-old boy, and it sounds like he had a family member who was with him, and this homeowner, who's now facing charges, fired shots and hit this 11-year-old boy. What else do we know about the folks involved, both on the side of the children and also on the side of this homeowner now who is facing charges?
For the prosecution, the key witness is going to be the victim, 11-year-old Julian Guzman. That night, Saturday night, on the east side of Houston, they were playing this game of ding-dong ditch. They were ringing, knocking on doors, and running. Julian was with his either 10 or 11-year-old cousin at the time. They were both doing this. Apparently, according to investigators, they knocked on the door of the suspect 3 times in a 15-minute span. The third time they did it, when they ran, the suspect, according to investigators, was hiding behind a fence in the yard, in investigators' words, lying in wait. And after that third time they knocked and the boys took off, he went after them. And about a block away, according to investigators, he fired 2 shots, one into the ground. The next one hit Julian in the back. His cousin was there. The cousin says he tries to pick him up. The cousin now becomes a prime witness. Now, according to the DA who I talked to yesterday, the cousin has not positively identified the suspect yet. He has described what he was wearing, but they also acknowledge that given his age and the trauma he witnessed, that they're taking it easy with him as to how much they're pushing him on information at this time.
I'm just curious, what the community response has been to this. I can imagine with, the life lost here being so young that folks probably have some opinions about this and might be sharing this with you and the reporters on your staff.
A lot of outrage, of course, given the age of the kids. There's always a debate. Well, weren't these kids warned that playing this kind of game can get you in trouble? That may be true, but you don't expect this kind of trouble. And the DA would argue, look, these kids posed no threat. They ran, they weren't armed, they didn't steal anything, and one of them was shot. And so the outrage, of course, is the nature of the crime. It was a block away. It wasn't at the front door. It wasn't, according to investigators, as if this person could be threatened. I also asked the DA, well, did he have any clue that these were young children? And he said, how could you not? They're 10 and 11 years old, and you chased them for a block. How could you not know? So, yeah, there's a lot of outrage, especially in that community. Now, we have not talked to the boy's family. There was a memorial at the site of the shooting this evening, and family members have not talked, but they definitely want justice.
Now, you had alluded to the fact that there seems to be, I want to say, more or less, a consensus that the boys weren't posing a threat. And so inevitably there's always going to be a question about stand your ground or castle doctrine in a case like this, where some folks might ask, does that even apply in this situation? Has that been broached as a, something to be discussed adjacent to this case at all?
Yeah, not Vanessa, not from the defense attorney, but I posed that question to the Harris County District Attorney, and I'll paraphrase. He said, "No way, no how," for the reasons that I just laid out to you. That they're boys, they're not posing a threat, they didn't steal anything, they weren't armed, and they were running away. In his words, that's a quote. And yet, you decided to open fire. So he says, in this case, castle doctrine, stand your ground, not applicable.
Now, I mean, there is the other discussion here about, I guess, the resurgence of this as a prank to do. We know nowadays social media plays a role in this situation, while very, very extreme, seems to be just the latest case of, I want to say, this prank going haywire, if you will. And we've heard law enforcement in different parts of the country where some of these cases have escalated, weighing in, saying, don't even try this prank. Have you heard anything of that nature from law enforcement where you are, or has there been any sort of messaging from authorities about, I guess maybe directly to kids, about doing this?
No, not in this particular case, but I will tell you, social media does play a role in some of these pranks. And on the night of the shooting, Julian Guzman did have his phone. When he knocked on the door at this gentleman's house, he was recording. And when they ran, he was recording. And when he was shot, that phone was recording. And according to investigators, you could hear the 11-year-old gasping for air because his phone was recording. Obviously, they want to record so they can potentially post, I would assume, or show it to their friends. So clearly, that kind of ups the ante in terms of getting a kick for the kids. I mean, I did this when I was a kid, in the last century, I'll point out. But this was, we've not heard like officers saying, look, you shouldn't do this, parents, watch your kids. I've had friends of my own daughter who's a teenager say they've done this, and I would tell her, I have said to her, that's not a good idea, because I'm in the news business, that somebody could come out with a gun. Now, they may not shoot you, but they'll certainly scare you. In this case, according to prosecutors, the guy shot.
Yeah. I mean, what a case, and clearly making a huge impact on your community there. What are you looking to as far as, next steps or developments that you're keeping an eye out for this case going forward?
So obviously the next step is how much more information can they get out of the witness, the 10 or 11-year-old cousin of the victim? Will bond be reduced? Will they up the charge to capital murder, which makes him eligible for the death penalty? And as you know, in Texas, the death penalty is active and is used. If that becomes the case, we'll just have to see. The gentleman, Leon, the suspect, has an attorney, an appointed attorney. He didn't have much to say today in terms of defense, but he pointed out, according to, the way the laws are, hey, you are innocent until proven guilty. So we'll have to see how it plays out over the coming days. But the prosecution, Harris County DA, seems fairly confident that they've got the right person and they have the right charge. Remember, they talked to this guy Saturday night, and he was questioned, he was held. I even think they took him into the police station. They did not charge him that night. The prosecutor said they didn't have probable cause, so they needed to get more information. Then Monday, they arrested him and charged him with murder. So that's where we stand now. What happened in those conversations? According to the prosecutor, the suspect said nothing, which most lawyers would tell you, don't say anything. He didn't. He didn't admit to anything. He didn't say anything about what happened, how it happened, where, nothing. And so they have nothing from him to go on. So everything is based on, obviously, the witness of the kid that was there. And of course, you have a victim.
Yeah. really interesting and heartbreaking case. Len Cannon with KHOU, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for joining us here on Live Impact News. Really appreciate all your insights and the reporting here as well.
All right. Thank you, Vanessa.